want all of you to get up.
This is my home!
There is a hunger in the land for a game changer.
You're just making excuses.
Work your face off.
That's gonna make the difference between winning and losing!
And I'll be damned if you take that from me.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to our kind of continuing podcast at Tampa 2A / Dropzone / whatever it is we're calling it these days. And we've got Thomas King in the house today, guys, from Florida Firearms Academy. How we doing, Thomas?
I'm doing great today.
So Thomas has got a new laser engraver, I guess, over at the shop.
No, with our sponsors.
Okay, access to
Kilo
one.
Delta Tactical.
Okay.
Does some amazing stuff, but we have access to it.
Cool. So we're going to get into some of that. And, guys, we've also got somebody in the building here today whose name is Alex Lima and is owner of the Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts Club. Alex, what's going on?
What's up? Good morning.
So, Alex, tell me a little bit about Black Belt Fitness Martial Arts Club. Get our listeners kind of, in tune with what it is you guys do and what you're all about.
Absolutely. So it kind of originated as just a personal training studio. I'm a certified personal trainer and a mixed martial arts athlete. I compete in different combat sports, and it kind of branched off. My clients started wanting to do a little more than just fitness. They wanted to do some of the kickboxing and jiu-jitsu stuff, so then it broke off into doing classes for adults and kids. So we're very unique because we don't do like the traditional, we're not like a McDojo. We're not we're not the old school. We got a lot of old school traditions, but with a lot of new school flavor because it's a lot of modern fighting techniques and tactics and stuff like that.
So you keep the honor and respect in it, but you still have new tactics.
Absolutely, which I feel is lost in most places nowadays. Right. You either go into a gym and it's like a meathead place where everybody's just tatted from their neck down to their toes and they just want to do violence and beat each other up, or it's like the traditional place where kids really aren't learning how to fight and like defend themselves. So right. I strive really, really hard to try to bring like that perfect balance of like we're gonna keep learning honor and respect and discipline, but we're also gonna be able to handle our business.
Tactics. I like that because like in the firearm industry, we're always developing new different techniques of shooting, new firearms. Same thing with hand-to-hand combat. It's not the same.
They're very similar. You have to stay on the cutting edge of training. You're not fighting with muskets and stuff anymore. You have to learn how to run ARs and stuff, right? The military. So I mean, you have to have to stay current on tactics and techniques always to stay relevant.
How young is the youngest you bring in there?
The youngest kid I have right now is 5 years old.
Awesome.
I've worked with younger, but that's like a tiny kids class, and to be honest, they're kind of just like learning hand-eye coordination and mechanics. They're not really learning how to like choke people out.
It's a good experience.
They're sponges at that age.
Oh, but the kids are. I love probably teaching the kids the most because they have no bad habits and they just they just think it's awesome. So they just want to do everything. They're down for whatever.
They don't have bad habits from other gyms.
No, their diet's not wrecked from 10 years of drinking. Stuff like that. So
they're out there smoking on.
Good thing I don't know what that's like.
We teach kids 5 years old and up to shoot. So.
It's the way to do it,
It's
man.
amazing to teach these kids because they're little sponges, and when they do it, the look and excitement on their face. Yeah. I'm sure it's the same exact thing. I have friends that have little kids that take a.
Well, did you see that Pink's husband?
Pink's husband.
Yeah, Pink's husband, the singer, her husband. They were teaching their daughter how to shoot.
Yes,
Like he's defending what he did, and I'm like, why is this guy even defending? What is going on here?
It's
know what I mean?
It's your business, man.
People don't realize that shooting has been an Olympic sport for 123 years. It is a competition. It's not just for defense. It's a bonding experience with your father. You need it if God forbid there's an EMP or some kind of crazy thing and we have to hunt for our food. A lot of people won't know how to do it, and they're going to starve and die and whatever may happen, but
100%.
Shooting is an essential to
Thomas,
the United States of America.
You always say that, though, and I always like that when you said that we need to get this sport out there more. And I hear you refer to it as a sport.
It is a sport.
A lot. And I like that because what you're doing is you're framing the discussion really how it needs to be. You know what I mean? Like so much of it is turned into a fear-based industry.
It's social media. It's all kinds of things that are putting out wrong propaganda stuff about firearms and what they represent.
Yeah.
And what they represent is tens of millions of jobs for people. I mean, these are people that are in the industry, that love the industry, that do this for a sport, a competition. This is put food on their table. They don't go out and rob people or anything. Those are criminals. Just like
Right.
any kind of bad thing that you have. You may have bad police officers. You may have bad priests. You may have bad attorneys. Sure, there's bad
Right.
people in every kind of field. But don't take down the whole industry and wipe out something what our founding fathers made as a right, not a privilege. It is our right. Not like driving. You take away driving, that's just a privilege. All these other things are just little privilege. But you take away our God-given right to protect ourselves, well, then you're going to have a serious problem with the American people.
100%.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, in terms of your business, Alex, and what you've got going on there, how did all this kind of come to play? Like, how did you get started in all this?
So, like I said, I've been doing this stuff since I was a little kid. I actually started training traditional martial arts when I was like 4 years old, turning 5 years old. I kind of grew up in a rough neighborhood, and I was a heavy set kid.
Did you get beat up a lot?
Dude, I was bullied. I'm not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
was bullied, and then one day I was like, I'm not gonna get bullied anymore. So I started watching Karate Kid and Ninja Turtles, and I was like,
Turtles, baby.
For sure, dude. I was like, I got to do something about this. I have to go all four. I want Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael inside of me.
That's right.
So I was like, I remember I came home one day and I was like, Mom, I want to learn how to fight. I want to do martial arts. I want to do karate. So we went around, found a place, and just kept going with it, man. That's literally been my entire life has been involved in this in some shape, way, or form. I have been in combat
That's
sports.
amazing. And what would you say to the people like that say, "Oh, karate's all fake" and all that? And what does it do to your mindset?
So when people hear karate, they get like it goes back to that, like I said, that like what you were just saying, there's a lot of people that think that stuff doesn't work. No, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just so much of it has been watered down. Like so many people have turned martial arts into just like a business. Like you can literally, there are some places you go, and as long as you pay your money every month, every 2 or 3 months, you're going to get a belt, you're going to get a stripe, you're going to keep moving up the ranks, whether you know how to fight or not.
I have taken classes like that.
That's it, dude. They just want the cash coming in, and
oh goodness, even that's gotten messed up. Huh?
It's everything's tainted, man. There's corruption and everything. So I've made the decision that I'm like, nobody at my gym, kids and adults, nothing is given away. You have to earn everything, because I think that's a life lesson as well. You know.
Absolutely. People don't realize that today too.
Yeah.
So you have to earn it.
You got started when you were 4. Started when you were 4 or 5, right?
Yep.
So.
Started with traditional martial arts and doing like point fighting and stuff like that. Won some competitions and stuff doing that. Got older, probably around 13, 14 years old. I got tired of fighting for points. Because I realized, just hitting somebody one time in the stomach and then a referee separates you, that's not the end of a fight. That's not how it really works. So I was like, I want to get into this full contact stuff. I want to do like knockout fights, things like that. So then I started.
Should we invite the gardener in?
Yeah.
So explain the background then, as far as the martial arts and whatnot. You got 12 years experience, firefighter, first responders.
Yep.
All that good stuff. Explain kind of the time a little bit about that.
How I got into that.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So funny enough, like I wanted to join the military initially. I wanted to join, and because martial arts, like I said, self-defense, fighting, things like that have always been such a part of my life. I was like, well, what career field can I go into where I can kind of utilize that? So I want to join the military, but I had some situations in my life. I had my mom was sick, and I didn't want to be deployed somewhere and something would happen, and I couldn't just because you can't just be like, hey, my mom's sick, I got to leave Japan, I got to fly back. So I decided to go the fireman route. I want to be a local, first responder, be a hometown hero instead of having to go overseas and stuff. And I was looking for a career too at the same time that would allow me to keep pursuing competing and training. And with the fireman schedule, you work 24 on, 48 off. It was doable at first, but that job's pretty fatiguing as well.
Yeah.
So that's a crazy job.
No, it really
crazy
is.
Career.
Did you see the Super Bowl commercial?
No, which
For
one?
the first responders, they had a pretty decent one. Did you see that?
Now,
Thomas?
wasn't
the
that
one
like
with the coach that got saved?
Allstate Insurance or something?
It was for
or?
Verizon.
Verizon.
And I was like, I was like, wow, Verizon's really trying to.
I thought
they're milking
amazing.
it,
And it says
Then
Verizon.
it said
your number
Verizon,
one
and I was like,
network.
oh, come on, Verizon.
You had to ruin it.
You know what I mean?
It was
like,
a great
trying
commercial.
so hard.
Right.
So you guys have a new location, right? Looking for a larger location.
Yeah.
Kind of explain what that process has been like. When did you move into the existing one, and then growing pains and what it's been like, growing the company and things like that.
Oh man, still painful. So
it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop, dude.
Doesn't
I'm
stop.
realizing that. So originally, when I started doing this, like I said, I was doing kind of just private lessons at first, and up until I believe it was July of 2018, I was actually teaching out of my garage. I have a pretty dope setup in my garage.
Gotcha.
With mats, weights, all that stuff and
Okay.
everything. So like a little mini like training dungeon. And I was doing one-on-one lessons in there and small groups. I would have 4 or 5 people in there. And then it got crazy. Like too many people were parking at my house. Neighbors were complaining. I was like, well, what am I
It's
going
like
to
a
do
house
with
party.
this? Am I going to
Yeah.
elevate this or not? So I was like, I got to find a location, see where this goes. So then we found the location, got a warehouse space. And that was just insane because it was not set up for training at all. So I'm knocking down walls. Like I literally, my blood, sweat, and tears has gone into building this room to make
Right.
it for us to train, you know, which was a cool process, but, you know, tedious.
Right.
But now, like, yeah, we're kind of starting to outgrow that. Now I'm running into parking problems over there. So
That's a great
you know,
problem.
Well, that's
those are the kind of
yeah,
problems I
exactly.
want, man. Those are the problems I want for sure. You know, I chose this life, so I gotta fight through it now and see where it goes, where it
Do
takes
some
me.
Black Friday sales like Thomas
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Well, I love the
Get
fact,
the lines around the block.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you said blood, sweat, and tears because people don't realize starting a business, you got to give it your all. And if you don't give it your all, you're not going to go anywhere in this
No,
business.
I work 24/7, man. If
That's
if
right.
I'm not teaching classes, I'm working on promotions and trying to plan the next couple things I have. You know, booking seminars. On top of that, trying to, you know, train for myself to be able to compete, and then most importantly, to be able to still make a little bit of time for my family and stuff as well.
And it's not
you know?
just doing that part. I went to work this morning, 4 in the morning. I'll probably leave at 8 tonight, and I'll probably work at home till 10 tonight.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
about the paperwork. It's about setting up.
Bro, it
it's
doesn't
about getting
stop.
the promotion. It's
Yeah.
about getting connections. And you know, I'm a
Yep.
big avid person about helping out all the community here and also the small businesses. So, like when I introduced you to him. Now I'd
Right.
like for you to have someone else introduce him to Jeremy,
Pay it
and you do
forward.
the same.
Yeah, pay it
so
forward, for
we
sure.
all just keep.
Yeah.
It can be about a cupcake business. So you know, it doesn't have to be about defense or firearms, whatever. If
Right.
if someone that you appreciate, that knows, that puts that hard blood, sweat, and tears, they should be able to succeed. It's an American dream, and we should all be able
Yeah.
to succeed, and we should all work together to help each
Yeah.
other out in it.
The
So.
potential's there. You just have to be very resilient. You
You
have to
believe-
keep.
you
The
believe it
potential
is.
is there. Money's there.
Yeah.
Opportunities are there. But dude, you gotta go.
How many
for it.
days do you
gotta
go home sore from doing all this?
Every single day.
Every single
Every
day.
single day.
right?
Every single
Well,
day.
That's what you gotta do.
Elon Musk the other day, and so there's that whole mindset out there of you just got hustle 24/7 and hustle.
Hustle, hustle.
And like that's definitely a big part of it. And you got to be smart about it, but. I mean, God, there's definitely a lot of truth to it. Somebody asked him the other day, and they said, "Well, so what is your key to success?" And he goes, "It's very simple." He goes, "Work more than everybody else."
That's right.
He goes,
You
I
work
work
everybody.
80 hours a week. Everybody else works 40.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm doing twice the amount of work as everybody else. He goes, you think that might add up week
That's
after
right.
month,
Absolutely.
after year and
You
year
do the
and
job
year?
that no one wants to do. You keep going no matter
right.
what.
But you're right, Thomas. What people don't see is, everybody else has gone home at 5, 6 o'clock.
You're doing
You're
taxes.
there, paperwork.
You're doing
emails,
taxes.
all
That's
this
the thing.
nonsense.
It's perception. People see just like the glory of
Yes.
it. Like when you watch fighters, like guys in the UFC and stuff like that. You're just seeing them win and
Yep.
the glory and the money and the fame. You don't know the hours that went behind
Right.
that in that training camp and
Right.
the injuries and the
Absolutely.
time
Right.
and the money spent on coaches and stuff. I mean, there is such a backstory to everything
Right.
of what you're trying to accomplish.
Oh, I
and do.
feel the pain of every owner because I'm sick today. I got food poisoning. I'm blah blah blah. You got to get it
Gotta
all
work.
taken
Yeah.
care of. You
I
got
don't
to
think
make
so.
sure. There's not a way you could say, "Hey, I'm not feeling good, guys. I'm gonna cancel all these classes today."
No way, man.
You
I
gotta.
I have I owe it. I owe it to the people that come to me, that look to me for their help and becoming more fit and learning how to defend themselves.
Right.
I owe them. They're coming to me. I have a service that I have to provide for
Dedication
them.
and respect.
That's
Got to keep it going.
Hard work,
man.
dedication.
Hey, Alex, you spoke before about your family and
Yeah.
the support and stuff. Talk about how important that's been to this journey that you're on, that you've been on.
No matter what you're trying to pursue, you need a support system. You need someone that's in your corner, because there are so many days that it becomes tough and you feel like, man, damn, should I just close this up? Should I not do this
Right.
anymore? This is way too much. This is so overwhelming, But because think about it for a second. Like, I left the fire department. Most people would say I'm crazy. You left a government job, bro.
12
to,
years
to like
in.
to do 12 years in to
Yeah,
do this.
8
Like,
more, you would've
nuts,
got the
homie, what's wrong with you?
retirement, right?
You
Yeah.
know? And it's like, yeah, but I knew that wasn't my path in life. Like, I wasn't
Right.
going to do 30 years of that. Because the goal was to be with the fire department, to backtrack a little bit, retire from there, get my pension, and then continue running my gym and my business.
Right.
But why am I going to wait to do that till my body is destroyed? 30 years of doing that to then
Right.
try and like, no, dude,
Right.
I would have had a heart attack, 5 years later, and it would have been
Right.
the end. So I had 5 solid years of my dream, No, I would rather at least die pursuing my dream.
Doors open, doors closed.
The hard
Real
thing
quick,
to
real
realize
quick,
is everybody has a dream. At one point in life, not everyone follows their dream.
Oh,
A lot
absolutely.
of people give up on it.
They get the fear. Fear sets in,
Fear.
and that's
Life
our
beats
biggest
'em up.
problem.
Trade your passion for glory. Eye of the tiger. man.
Exactly. You may take a pay cut. You may do whatever it is. You may have to work 80,
Initially,
120 hours.
Yeah.
But you know what? Once you get it all rolling and everything's running right,
Well, and it's
you're
for
living your
me
dream.
too. I'm not working for
Right.
somebody else. This is whether this succeeds or fails, it's on me, and,
Right.
I'd rather be on those terms.
And
I
you're
would
the
rather
one
be on
held
those terms.
accountable for it.
Absolutely.
Just like me, just like you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And you know what?
They say the buck stops there, right?
That's it. That's what they
Everybody
say.
else gets to blame somebody.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
No, this is on you. It's
I
on
know
you.
you for a little while, so I know if you failed at anything, it's only going to make you stronger to get back up to do that
Dude,
next thing 10
that's
times
it.
better. So
You know?
anyone that survives in this business just gets right back up.
I think to be a successful entrepreneur, just a person,
Right.
period, you have to have that mentality, though. But was it like Michael Jordan missed 300 game
Yeah.
winning shots or something like
Yeah.
that? But he's still the baddest to ever do
Right,
it. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So you're gonna have failures, but you have to be that kind of person that when you fail, you're like, okay, how do I come back with a strategy to reattack this and make it work this time, instead of just letting it defeat you?
I'd like my name on a shoe, like Jordan has. A little action figure of me.
Gary do you know Gary Vaynerchuk, Alex? You ever heard
I'm
of
not
Gary?
familiar, no.
I don't know if Thomas. I don't know if you.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk. He's like an entrepreneur marketing guy.
Okay.
And he got a freaking shoe deal.
Did
He's
he
probably
really?
the most popular one right now.
No
He got a shoe
kidding.
deal with K-Swiss.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, unbelievable, man. But I gotta say, I don't know, man.
See,
Those
I
shoes
work
are-
120 hours. I don't get to see all the good stuff out there.
Sandals would probably work better for me because we train barefoot. So if
Sandals,
I could get
right,
like
right.
black belt, like
sandal deal?
flip flops, yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't need like
All right.
shoes. I'll do a sandal.
All
deal.
right.
I want my name on a gun. Oh, I do have my name on a gun.
there you
I
go.
invented my own
You're
gun,
already
so-
winning, man.
Yeah, right.
So let me ask you this then, Alex, because we're talking about combining the honor with the new techniques and all that stuff, and I'm not a huge MMA guy, but I catch a lot of the major events and whatnot, and obviously Conor is quite the entertainer.
He's the hype train, yeah.
That fight, the way that turned out at the end, did you discuss that?
This last one, like
the
with him,
Conor
him and
versus
Khabib?
yeah. Did you discuss that with anybody at
Oh,
the gym, or
yeah, everybody-
say, guys, this is
Oh, we immediately after that fight took place, that following class, we went over Khabib's like how he dominated Conor. That fight went
game
exactly
plan.
how I thought it was going to go.
I think
Yeah.
people that really understood what was going on.
Well,
there
it's
kinda
like
saw
anything
that.
else. Once you find the weakness in something, you can exploit it.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did. They know his wrestling game isn't there. Everybody
Right.
that's taken him to the ground has done well. And Khabib is probably pound for pound one of the most ferocious ground wrestlers.
He really is. Wasn't there a video of him wrestling? Was that
A bear.
Yeah, as a
Yeah.
kid wrestling
Yeah.
a bear.
No
you
way.
see-
Yeah.
Really?
Dude, so when he was a little kid, because he's from like
Extreme.
Dagestan or something like that,
Wow.
so they do some wild stuff out
I mean,
there.
it wasn't like
Yeah.
a 900-pound grizzly
Right,
full grown
right.
No,
bear.
but he had a pet bear.
Still,
His
no
dad bought him a
kidding.
pet bear, and he would go in the backyard and he would roll around with this bear, dude. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's somebody you don't want to play with.
Right.
Like you don't wrestle
Yeah.
with.
But
that
you know
guy.
what? Like you said, his ground game wasn't all that. But you know what? With a lot more practice, preparation, it could be, right?
Of course.
And that's just about with anyone.
Well, the
That's why
other
they
thing
do
too,
this.
I think that that
he neglects that aspect.
he
Right.
neglects it, and when you're on top, and this is what I said about Conor, when you're on top, it's hard to stay on top.
Of course, you're not as
And
hungry.
You're not as hungry, exactly. When you get all those accolades, it's a natural, like in sports, and I relate this to business a lot and just life in general as well. Momentum is something that I don't think we pay enough attention to a lot of times. In sports, when you see an underdog team take out the champ in a game, right?
Right.
They're ecstatic. Most times they lose that next game.
Sure.
Right? And a lot of times they get rolled on
'Cause they
that
were
next
pumped.
game. Exactly, because they were so high that you naturally come down.
Absolutely.
And I try to in my own life to try to recognize that when I'm on these really big highs and I say, okay, cool. So this was a phenomenal week. It's an incredible month. I need to make sure I keep up. You know what I mean? I need to make sure I
stay
keep
humble. Stay
keep-
humble. You have to
stay
keep that
humble,
hungry
keep
mindset.
your foot on the gas.
Because you'll start slipping.
Exactly.
You'll start slipping
So
if you get too hyped up.
That's
for
what I
sure.
saw with Conor was I was like, man, this guy is on cloud 9.
Yeah.
And he had so much fun promoting that Floyd Mayweather thing.
Well,
it was
you gotta-
so much
yeah.
hype.
Great marketing.
Okay.
He
Oh,
knows
dude,
what he's
we got to
doing
think
in
he made
marketing.
like 100 million or something with
Yeah.
that, and then not just that. So then after that, he came out with his whiskey line,
Yep.
right? So how motivated he was? Poor when he first started fighting.
Right.
He was living off welfare, so that's when he started wrecking everybody
Right.
because he was a hungry lion.
Right.
But now, when you have $100 million sitting in the bank and you have a line of whiskey that's about to drop, how motivated are you really to get up and
Telling
train
you,
every
man.
day? You look at when you're hungry, you
Yeah.
4 o'clock in the morning,
Like,
got to go
you
for
got
a
there,
run.
you know?
100
If
million
you
in the
want-
bank, I can sleep till 10:30. I'll be good.
I made it.
But when
You
you
know?
want
Yeah.
it, you have to go for. Wide
Got to.
receiver Jerry Rice. His dad used to throw red bricks to him instead of footballs to catch him to keep his hands really light. Because if you're going to catch a brick, you
Right.
can't just grab it.
have
to- Right.
yeah.
Lightly grab
Ah,
it.
I like that.
That guy was phenomenal.
I like
One
that.
of the best. You got to
Very
go
cool.
above and beyond, think outside the box, and that's what we
Alex,
try
do
to
you guys
do.
do
Absolutely.
anything like that over there?
Oh, dude, we have
like
crazy
that is kind of like
tactics.
different than what other people would find. Talk about that a little bit for the listeners. What are they going to see there that you do that is different? That people that are kind of familiar with it come in and say, "Well, that's cool. I've never done it like that before."
So everything we do, even with like our fitness, like we have a day dedicated to just strength and conditioning, but it's all based around fight drills as well.
Okay.
So for example, like everybody's seen like with the Creed movie and stuff, like guys are doing like the sledgehammer on the tire.
Yep.
What that actually works when you do stuff like that, it's not just to build your endurance. You actually do the same body mechanics as if you were throwing
Right.
a big overhand right.
Right.
So you're building muscle memory and snap to throw that overhand right. So all the training that we do, I try to base it around and kind of sneak it, kind of like the wax on, wax
Right.
off thing. Like Daniel,
Yep.
Daniel didn't know he was learning moves.
Right.
I try to modernize that, and I sneak things into your training that when you start hitting that bag, you're going to be like, man, I'm really cracking that bag now.
Right.
Well, that's because you were doing grasshopper
It
Right.
prepares
push-ups.
you for the next
Yeah,
event.
but they didn't know they were doing it, so I sneaked that in. So I don't know. I
Gotcha.
guess I'm kind of like a Cuban Miyagi or something like
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's a character that we could develop,
that.
right?
Let's do it. Let's make a comic. Let's do it. Yeah.
The old wax on, wax
Yeah,
off.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
whole
that's
a whole new series.
So yeah, so it's a lot of things like that. It's really all of our training is out of the box, you know, because I'm
Right.
not one. I can't be on a treadmill and stuff like that. It's boring to me.
Right.
I need to do things.
Well, and I
to-
think keeping it
Keeps
keeping
it
it
interesting.
changed up too. You know, we were talking about we focus on new things because they're practical, but it's also important to have a lot of new things going on just due to the human nature of the people involved. I
Right.
mean, you've
Yeah.
got to keep it switched up. They're talking about you've got some things that are routine and other things you change up.
Sure.
And if you don't find a way to continually change things, it
Well-
gets stagnant like everything else.
Well, the other
right?
thing with that too is that you have to change because the game itself, mixed martial arts, is evolving. If you look at fights nowadays versus like when in like the '96 or whatever,
Right.
the early days of like fighting,
Right.
we're fighting completely different.
Way different.
Ken Shamrock and
yeah,
Gracie.
exactly. When you were getting away with
Horace
back
Gracie.
then, dude, that's what amateur guys are doing now. Like that
Right.
that level, it's another level now. You have to stay with the times with
Right.
everything
and
else.
as your age develops too, we can't all stay on top, even as the best champion of the world. So when you get a lot older, you have to have different techniques to take.
You have to evolve your
people
game.
down that are much
That's
younger.
a great point because a lot of people like so many people are bandwagon fans and they'll be like, "Oh,
Right.
that guy's washed up. He needs to quit. He's too old now." No, he just needs to evolve his game and fight differently. He can't fight like the 20-year-old guy that likes to sit in there and stand
Yeah.
and bang anymore. He needs to be more strategic.
Exactly.
Maybe
Who's the
take
one
him to
guy
the ground.
that's Who's the one guy? Randy.
Randy Couture and
yeah.
Dan Henderson.
Is-
Yeah, those
how
guys.
old
are,
is
those-
he now?
Well, Dan Henderson, his like a good training partner of his is like 50, and he's
Right.
still wrecking dudes in their 20s.
Yeah, I was
Why?
gonna say
Because he
go,
has
go
a
tell
style.
that guy he's too old.
Right.
You can't, man. But only because he has a style
thanks.
that's conducive to still winning.
Right.
He can't get in there like he's 19 and
You
just
have
start
to
throwing
develop
hands
your
with a
game
guy.
at all times.
You have
Just
to be
like in
strategic.
shooting, competition,
Yep.
in any sport.
It's
You
any
have
form
to
of
develop
combat
it.
and sport. Yeah.
Your
all-
age, what you can and can't do. But you know, Ken Shamrock, he just teamed up with Brandon Rhymes from 102.5 The Bone, and they're doing like a whole real estate deal thing. Yeah, I actually met him over there. He's a good guy.
No kidding.
I wouldn't mess with him still. He's still a big dude. And
Oh, he's still a bad
he'd
dude.
probably
but
pull your head off. But you know what? Like, as kids or women, you have to treat them differently
100%.
as to the guy that's completely 100% fit, ready for MMA. You know?
Yeah.
So,
So I have an interesting mix at my place that I have. I'm not going to lie. The majority of people come for the fitness aspect of it, but I do have some people that want to train and compete.
Right.
We're all learning the same thing, but there's just going to be an intensity level and a difference to what they're going over.
now,
As
how
opposed
do
to,
you, when you look at someone, you see, okay, this is what they're ready for, or do you put them in a starting and go, okay, I need to put them in this program, this program? How do you do? How do you
I
justify
typically
that?
I like to do like an introduction introductory lesson first. I like to know what your goals are, and I want to see. I'll maybe work some things for you and just kind of see where you're at skill wise.
Right.
And I'll be like, man, this guy's got some natural ability, or you know what, he could work a little bit on this first.
You know what I think
And
I
then,
want to do? I think
yeah.
I want to create. I've been kicking around the idea, and I think it just came to me.
Okay.
Of the Dropzone event is like we were talking about before. It's made to be different.
Sure.
Right, and it's combining obstacle course racing, fitness with the firearms game and all that. I think I would love to put together some kind of a package.
Okay.
Where we can send some people over to you.
That would
And
be
let
cool.
them get some physical fitness and some training in and
Yeah,
whatnot,
yeah.
and immediately then ship them right over to Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Let Thomas work on their gun game with them a little
dude.
bit.
You
There's
guarantee-
always
what
some
I
light
mean?
bulbs going
Always,
on in there.
dude.
man.
I mean,
That's
you know
that's
what
a
I mean?
guaranteed win.
Right, right.
This is a superhero team up. Yeah.
Because when I was trying to put that together before, I said, okay, so I can do some physical training at the ranges. That's not a problem, like especially the outdoor ranges and whatnot.
Sure.
But most of the outdoor ranges they're pretty far away, the ones that have a lot of land, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's not going to be conducive because when people are going to want to do this, it's got to be location plays a factor in these things.
100%,
Okay, unless
yeah.
you're offering something truly like world class,
Remarkable that,
location
yeah.
is always playing a factor when you're talking
Convenience.
about
It's convenience.
marketing and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that might be.
I even have one up
that.
better for you.
Okay.
We can be there with a team to make sure that you know how to hold, load, aim, and shoot a firearm correctly. So you're not just coming into this as saying, "Oh yeah, I can do it," and you're completely doing
Right.
it wrong. Because I have people that come into our range saying, "I've been shooting 10 years," and I'm like, "Oh, that's great." We go out there and see them, and they're doing something so
Yeah.
unsafe that we're like, "Oh
Yeah.
my lord, you've never taken any kind of classes."
Dude.
But something
Yeah.
for the listeners, real quick. Alex and I are going to be giving away something, so be sure to stay tuned at the end of this, where we're going to tell you what we're going to offer you, and this is free for you, and it's going to be amazing.
We're at about 30 minutes right now, Thomas. So why don't you guys just go ahead and drop that right now?
Let's do it at 31 minutes.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Right now,
60 seconds of silence.
Right now, we're going to give away a free membership to Florida Firearms Academy, and this is going to be done by. How are we going to go ahead? What's the listener going to have to do to get this for them?
So I'm not sure what the contest will look like.
Okay.
But it will probably. It'll be posted on the Florida Firearms Academy page. It'll be posted on the Dropzone page. And it'll be posted on
Yeah, put it on our
the,
Facebook and all
Alex,
that stuff.
How do people find you on Facebook, Alex?
Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts Club is the business page.
Gotcha.
And on Instagram and Twitter, I'm at blackbelt_jitsu,
Okay.
JITSU.
So they can check out there.
Yeah.
Thomas at Florida Firearms
Definitely be
Academy.
promoting it for sure.
Myself
and your
at
event as well, the
Dropzone.
Dropzone. I'd love to promote
Yeah,
that
no,
for you as
I'm
well.
really liking that idea.
Yeah.
And then,
Make some
Alex,
cool
what are you
things happen.
guys tossing into the giveaway
Into the mix.
extravaganza here?
So I've teamed up with Thomas at Florida Firearms Academy, and we actually created a self-defense series. It's a 5-part
Love it.
series, right? We do once a month, the last Friday of every month, and it's 5 different parts. The one that we're going to do this month for February, I believe it's February 22nd is the Friday. It's going to be escapes. So we're going to be training nothing but escapes. How to
Okay.
get out. It's like chokeholds, everything. I'm going to teach you how to get out of everything.
What's the best part about that?
It's completely free.
It's free. So it's 7
no
p.m.
gimmicks, man. It's not like those real
Gotcha.
estate seminars where you come in, they say
Right.
the dream, and you got to buy the package to really learn how to
Right.
do it. My goal with this is I truly want good people to be able to defend themselves.
Gotcha.
If they sign up with me after, that's fine. If they go train somewhere else after, that's fine. But people need to know how to defend
I
themselves.
think getting out of the
holds and
chokes
stuff,
and the
yeah.
holds and stuff is probably something that's very
grabs
very overlooked
everything,
in terms
yeah,
of
because
self-defense.
like human trafficking and stuff, women, people being grabbed
Yep.
from behind and dragged into cars and things like that.
Yeah.
There's always an escape. There's
Yep.
a way out, but you need to know how to do it.
Right.
And,
And
like,
they
you have
just
to
give
train it.
up. They've never had training. They just, they got me.
I don't think
You're
so.
done.
It's so much that they completely give up. I think they freeze because they don't have the training. So it's
Well,
like
yeah.
your mind goes blank. It's
Scared,
like, what do I do
right.
in this situation?
well, especially if they've got you by the throat or whatever.
It's
I
scary,
mean, you
dude.
know you're on a clock.
It's scary.
which adds to the
It's
stress
scary.
level.
It's
you
scary,
know?
yeah. So that's why, like, when we train, like when we do the fighting, like jiu-jitsu and things like that, the goal is, what I tell all my students is always, we're learning to become comfortable in uncomfortable positions and situations.
Gotcha.
It's very uncomfortable for someone to be on top of you trying to smash your
Right.
face in.
Yes.
But if you can have peace of mind and be calm and
Had the
think,
unfortunate
it would suck. Yeah.
experience of
So
being there a few
It's like
times.
solving a puzzle. How do you get out?
that's exactly how I describe it. So fighting is high level problem solving, right?
Right.
It's a high level puzzle, right, with physical repercussions. Because if you don't solve the Rubik's Cube, you just start over and put the colors
Yep.
back, right? But you don't solve this puzzle, there's physical repercussions.
Right.
You're getting smashed, you're getting choked
Yeah.
out, and stuff like that. So it's
Last-
it's mental. It's very mental.
Last month, a couple weeks ago, Alex did a course at the store there, and it was on street and home defense. So there's about 20 people that came out there. had a blast, learned about it, talked about it, put it on social media, and they thanked me for having it. And I said, hey, don't thank me, have Alex, because you know what? Alex is the one's putting all the hard time and sweat into this. Yeah. So these things are for you, for free, to learn something, to educate you, to get a little bit further. If you want to take it to that next level or way beyond that, this is your guy to do it.
And you probably meet some, I'm sure everybody meets, I mean, you got like-minded people there, right? So if this is something that's interesting to somebody, they're going to come to some of these things.
Well, what's
you're going
funny,
to meet a lot of other really cool people in the process.
Sure. And well, what's funny too, it's people from all walks of life. Like, you know, you would think like a self-defense seminar, maybe it's just going to be like soccer moms would show up or something like that. That wasn't the case, man. There was this big black dude that was in there, and he's actually a security guard, and he wanted to learn some more moves to handle because he's in a line of work that he needs to know the stuff.
It's his profession.
You know? And then there was like a husband and wife team. There was a couple that are obviously everybody's concerned for their safety, man.
Really?
Or you should be anyways.
We live in different times today.
It's different, dude.
I think that's reassuring too for people when they come to something like that and see the diversity.
It shouldn't be intimidating.
You know what I mean? I've always been very impressed with that.
Yeah.
Like-minded, but not in the way that they thought that it was going to be.
Don't have to be this.
Great relationships come out of that.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times people aren't into firearms. They're terrified of it or whatever, or they've had a bad experience. This is a great way to defend yourself. Like I sell pokey sticks, knives, and I sell mace, and I sell stun guns. If you don't want to carry a firearm, then don't. You shouldn't carry a firearm because you're going to hurt yourself or hurt.
Yeah.
And if you haven't had any training, or you
Absolutely.
may hurt someone else. So there's a lot of things you can do to protect yourself. And you know what? People just go out and buy mace, and they've never taken a class on mace. You know what? Mace, if they'll spray it at an animal, it kills the animal or a dog. You got to know how to use this mace, how far to use it, what time to use it, where to spray it, how long it lasts. There's an expiration date. There's a million things to know about mace.
There's technique for everything.
If you spray a line of it, if a dog's coming, he will not cross this line because they breathe it in. They breathe through their sweat gland. They go, and it just goes in their lungs and it kills them. So like they could see that on camera, right? Gotta forget you're on radio here. So.
But yeah, no, absolutely.
But in every single thing that we do, like when I do something, I really want to do it to my best ability. I may not be the best at it, but in life, that's the way you should be in defense. You should be able to try many different things, and what you're really good at is what you should stick with. So
sure. Well, and then to just add one more thing to that. So what I always tell people in my seminars or in my classes and stuff too, when it comes to firearms, even if you're a big firearms enthusiast, a firearm is definitely the ultimate answer to a threat.
Can be
if you're trained, and of
used
course you have
against
to
you
be able to
too,
get shots on target for sure. But in the event that you can't get to your firearm, you miss or you run out of ammo, whatever the case may be, you need to have something else.
You have to
have something else, man. You have to have something else. So it blows my mind, the mentality sometimes, because the flip side of that is when something goes on, people are just like, oh, I'll just shoot them if they do anything. That cannot be your mentality, bro. Are you crazy? You can't it's in the Wild West, man. Although sometimes it seems that way. You can't just your first thought cannot be, I'm just gonna shoot this guy.
It's ridiculous, and people will buy a firearm and they will never take a class on it. So usually those people are the ones that get the firearm taken away from them because you know what? They've never practiced reloads. Oh, I need to rack the thing before I put a bullet in it. Oh my God, where's the safety at on this thing? And this firearm gets taken away and used against them.
You're not proficient with it. Absolutely.
And like you said before, muscle memory. When you do these things, it's the same thing with firearms.
It's true.
When we draw, when we think, when we press out, when we aim, when we get line of sight, it's all muscle memory. We're not thinking 20 steps here. It's all muscle memory for us. So just like driving a car, when you first drove, you didn't think, oh, it's 40 miles per hour. I got to push the gas pedal this hard. Now you just get in and you do it. You don't even, your brain doesn't even think about your foot going, hey, you know what? I have to push it. You just do it. It's natural. It's all muscle
That's how
memory.
I actually approach firearms. I mean, I know we do sport and competition. I've gone to Florida Firearms and done the shootout, the competitions and things like that. But I look at it as a chance to practice my self-defense and become more proficient with my weapon. Because I look at it as just an extension of my weapon. So like back in the day, samurais trained with arrows and swords, right? Modern day samurais, you're going to be training with firearms and long guns.
Gotcha.
True.
Well, if anybody needs any training in the area, Thomas, how do they find you and the team over at Florida Firearms Academy?
You can find all of us, 13 different instructors out there. I'm at 13317 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, and our phone number is 813-221-FIRE. Our Facebook page is Florida Firearms Academy, and we're on Instagram, all that, whatever, Snap,
Good to go.
Twitter,
Good
dingy
stuff.
boo.
Good stuff. And Alex, remind the listeners one more time where they can find you guys at.
Yeah, you can just Google or Facebook us, Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts Club. Our phone number 813-426-1588. We have some cool seminars. We got the one at the end of the month now with Florida Firearms Academy, and February, I believe it's the 16th at St. Pete College, the Clearwater campus.
Really?
I'm doing a women's only self-defense
Very
seminar.
cool.
We're going to be doing rape prevention and
that's
and
free,
things like
right?
That one is also
That's
free.
with my
man.
sister.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
his sister actually.
sister
I'm gonna
works
be
there,
teaching
so.
that one. Yeah,
Very
So
cool.
totally free, man. No gimmicks. I want good people to be able to know how to defend themselves, adults and kids, because
It's
my
giving
kids
back to
program
the
is a
community.
bully-proof program.
Right.
Is the way I run it.
Gotcha.
So it's
That's
I'm really
awesome.
self-defense and fitness
Awesome.
focused.
I like that.
Awesome.
And
Well,
it's-
guys, listen,
Wait, I got
what's
one
up?
more.
All
I got
right,
one
what's
thing
up?
to throw in there.
More.
This is we're gonna give away a free AR for the best chili cook-off. This is gonna be in March.
Oh, man.
And we're
Wait,
gonna give
March when?
March. I will post the dates up on our
Gotcha.
Facebook page. But it's also we're gonna give away. We're gonna have a suppressor party. We're gonna have a attorney there signing for your trust. If you need a trust, you get your trust, your suppressor, and then you can come in and shoot it every day if you want, and leave it there until you get your tax stamp. Shooters Tampa Bay will be there. Grizzly Targets will be there. We'll have some vendors there.
Nathan, you got Nathan with Shooters Tampa Bay over there?
Oh yeah, he's
Nice.
he wants
He's
in on
great,
this
man.
deal. We're going to be giving away a lot of cool stuff, and if you come in and taste the chili, you're gonna get a chance to win a 12 gauge shotgun as well. So
Sounds like a
Really?
win.
yeah,
Sounds
it's going to
good,
be a
man.
fun
I'll
deal.
be there.
Guys, I got to tell you,
Yeah.
Florida Firearms Academy does a lot of
Alex
stuff
will
like
be there.
this.
I will be there,
Make
yeah.
sure you guys follow along with him. Thomas really supports the community, and
Yep.
he's always open to ideas and collaborations, guys. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Again, my name is Jeremy Griffin. Make sure you follow us over at the Dropzone Gunner page on Facebook. And if you happen to like what you're listening to right now, guys, make sure you follow along, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're broadcasting from the podcast shop at Startup Street, corner of Swan and McDill, 3024 West Swan Avenue. If you ever thought about doing something like this, guys, you want to get the podcast rolling, come hit me up. All right, thank you very much, guys. Oh.